Yes, here we go. It's the T.N.F. As you can tell, my voice is a bit worse for wear this evening. Birthday shenanigans and all that, Judge, you know. But yes, it is Thursday, the 7th of November now, 6 o'clock, a wee bit later than normal, Judge. So thanks for being patient with us. How are you?
I'm doing very well, mate. I had a great week watching Celtic. I mean, I think
Yes.
Sunday and Wednesday was going to be quite pivotal for Celtic's season.
Mm.
I think,
Yep.
I thought even getting a point on Wednesday would have been my idea of success. And I think getting through to the final would have been anybody's idea of progression in terms of last season and the draw
Definitely.
against Aberdeen. So we managed to get a 6-0 and a 3-1 victory. I didn't see that coming, boys, so I'm not going to lie to
Yeah,
you. But
9-1 aggregate. Fucking
and
hell, you would never have called that.
no, and I would never have thought that we dispatched Leipzig. I mean, let's be honest, boys. If that was 4 or 5-1, I don't think anybody would have complained. I
No.
think after the second heater they got for the corner after they scored, after that Celtic just took control of the match, and I can't remember the last time I saw Celtic so cosy against that level of
I
opposition in
know.
Europe. So in terms of this week, I'm brilliant, mate. A wee bit fresher than you are, but
Ah.
what's new there?
Very true, mate. Very true. All that good stuff means give us a wee like, give us a share, buy some hair. Hit the bell button so you don't miss a bus if you're already a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. We're getting loads of new ones right now. So a big shout out to you all. Bhoycie Bus membership, $1.99 a month, keeps the wheels on the road. Blah, blah, blah. Piesports.com as well. Bus 1888 is the code you use for a tasty pastry treat. Aye. So now it is Thursday. I think you're right to go back to the weekend as well. And you look at those as as you said, pivotal. Those two games are absolutely massive for Celtic for more than just League Cup reasons. For example, at the weekend, I said on the Friday show, I felt it was going to lay out the land a wee bit in the league as well. And I think we've seen that Aberdeen, probably any ember of belief that they had, that they could maybe do the unthinkable. I think we've quelled that. We've nipped it in the bud, if you want to call it that, Mark. We might have missed that opportunity at Celtic Park, and that might have been the sort of crumb of comfort they took, going, they can be got at. Well, Hampden, we absolutely expelled that myth. And I think come Tuesday, what's so pivotal with that isn't just the 3 points, it's what it means for the games upcoming. 3 of our next 4 are at home. We've just won 3 Champions League games in a row at Celtic Park now. It's becoming a bit more fortress-like. That law of the land as well has been massively enhanced, changed, outlook on it improved because of Tuesday's result. And then as a collective, as I say, a 9-1 aggregate in 2 huge games of football. We expected big tests, and you've got to be fair to Aberdeen on the weekend. They went into the game as a team easily worth being sort of 60-40 in our favour. But I think they deserved the right to go in there as, without more than a puncher's chance. Blew them away. Leipzig, we go into the game not as favourites, and yet played as if we were the whole time, apart from that 10-15 minute spell. But, again, during that, when we've come back from adversity, mate, that's a huge sign of improvement and progress with this team. How chuffed have you been with the improvements Brendan's made? Personnel-wise, there's 1 or 2. Nicholas Kuhn's an obvious one that's been added to the lineup and transformed this team. But I think the mentality overall of the group, there's been a big sea change. Domestically, at this point in time a year ago, we might have been picking up more good results than bad. I think we were 12 wins, 3 draws from our first 15 league games. But what I will say to that is the performances at no time are really swashbuckling, and like we've seen on Sunday. Champions League wise, I thought there was still improvements last year from the Postecoglou reign in Europe in terms of, I felt we played the fixture more. I felt we were trying to be a wee bit more balanced. This time around, 7 points from 4 games. He has made the improvements. He's recognised what he's had to do to make this Celtic side in 2024, November 24, a better version than what Celtic were in 2023, just 3 months into his reign. You can tell he's had a 15, 16-month run at it now, eh?
Well, first of all, I just need to say happy birthday to Brendan McFadden. He's 61 today. Friend of the family. My brother's in-laws. He's ill in hospital just now. Hopefully he's resting up and he's be back on his feet soon. But happy birthday, mate. Hope you had a good tune, and hopefully another result Sunday for you.
Happy birthday, Brendan. Nice one.
And what I will say is as well, I feel like he spoke about how Celtic have progressed under Rodgers, but I think personally he's progressed because it took a lot for Brendan Rodgers to take the Dortmund stuff on the chin. You know what I mean? There was a lot of arrows in his direction after that result. You know what I mean? And I feel like you look at the 2-each game at Celtic Park, there was lessons learned, and he fixed the lessons in the next match. There was lessons learned at Dortmund, and he fixed them in the next match. And I think carrying on for that match on to Tuesday, I say Wednesday or on Tuesday, he's seen lessons learned because there was a point 25 minutes, half an hour into the match where Celtic are 1-0 down, and I'm thinking to myself, we've lost faith here. But Joe Hart's speaking you through the match and he says, look, Celtic are just trying to wind their way back into the game, no rushing, no hurrying and harrying here. Celtic are playing their own game, get their foot back on the ball and then move on from there. I said the benefit of having somebody so experienced in co-commentary, that's the benefit you got to it, because you get educated. But I thought Brendan Rodgers has took himself onto another level as well recently, boys. Do you know something? I think ironically the 7-1 doing against Dortmund is probably one of the best things that's happened to us European-wise in a while. Don't get me wrong, I didn't want to see it happen. It's heartbreaking to watch, but I think we learned a lot of lessons for that match. I think Rodgers probably seen where Celtic were at in the European landscape with his swashbuckling football. He's took a step back and he's addressed it. I think we could have got to match day 3 and 4 in these campaigns, being totally out the competition altogether, with no chance of bringing it back. It's happened early. It's happened in the second match. We've followed it up with 2 very, very high caliber teams. One hasn't lost a game all season, basically, at Atalanta, Italy's top goal scorers, Germany's best defence, and we've played well against the Turin Bhoycie, and in the middle of that, we got a 6-0 victory at Hampden. Probably one of the best performances I've seen at Hampden in a long time, boys. We tend to win matches at Hampden, but they're not always good to watch. In terms of the individuals on the park, I mean, we spoke about this, and we're not going to labour this, but this is what happens with Kuhn when you give Brendan Rodgers a full summer with him. This is what happens with these guys. You look at Dyson Maeda, I'm going to say it's probably, all right, there's been spells the last couple of games where he's been a bit, but I think his best football has come under Rodgers. No,
That's a question I asked Terry on
I
Tuesday.
it was a good point, and Terry made a great point. In fact, it was you, I think, made a good point about Engel, but we'll probably get back to that later. But I just noticed that I think Rodgers takes some things personally, but knowing a Neil Lennon way where they can kind of get you into a shell, that he works harder and goes, right, okay, fuck you. And I think we've seen that in the Atlanta game, the Aberdeen game in particular, but certainly the Leipzig game, because for Celtic to outrun, outwork, and outplay them in every department against Germany's second best team as just now, and a team who plays in the latter stages in Europe, today that's so established in the way Celtic did. It's no mean feat. I think you can sometimes be in the moment and get excited by something and just kind of, get too excited. But seeing you step back for it, Bhoycie, that was one heck of a performance Celtic put in our day there. That was one of the best performances I've seen for a Celtic European team since right back to O'Neill's first couple of seasons. That's how good it was. And I'm not going to expect that every game, but what that tells the fan base and Rodgers and even the team is there's a level of ability there that Celtic can reach if given the right circumstances. And I think we might see merit this European campaign, and 7 points after 4 games. I think that's even more than an optimistic Celtic fan was wanting at this time, mate.
Interested in your Dortmund point, we're saying it's maybe the best thing, and obviously it's not because we want that to happen. The thing is with that game is, if your theory's right, and it was a test of where are we actually at here if we just try and play our game at this level, right, against as good an opposition as you'll face. They are the runners-up currently, remember, of the competition for last year. If you try and play that, where are we at? Can we go toe-to-toe? Will we be on the wrong side of it doing? The thing is with that game, it was a free hit anyway. Dortmund away is when you've penciled in 0 points for. So 0 points is still 0 points, albeit the goal difference took a bit of a battering. We didn't want that. But if you're absolutely right in what you're saying, and we've used it as a gauge, that game, to where we're at, then it's worked massively and cost us fuck all, apart from a bit of pride dented. But if you're also correct in what you're saying, and Brendan's reactions to these sort of things is a channel it the right way, I use as a springboard of motivation to go out and get better rather than to not back doing, double doing sort of things, you know what I mean? And then that game is pivotal and all this. You're absolutely spot on. But what I've liked as well, and I think it shouldn't be lost, is the variety of displays we've now seen. Now, you can include a 7-1 scalper in there if you want. But what we've seen was us do what we should have done against Bratislava. Celtic never do what they should do in the Champions League. So that was, they got swatted aside with aplomb. No worries. We've seen against Atalanta a backs to the wall, grinding it out, 0-0 draw, that showed battling qualities, that kept going for the 90 minutes, didn't let the head go down, that was wave after wave of momentum against them at spells, had chances of our own on the break as well. But it was a completely different type of performance, and not one we've associated with Celtic in Europe for a long, long time. Maybe since, I don't know, Lenny's sort of Europa League campaign where we topped the group. There's maybe one or two that were a wee bit sort of battling like during those 6 games, don't know. And then last night, we've seen a balanced measure, or not last night, 2 nights ago, a balanced, measured Celtic side that on the ball played Leipzig off the park at times, particularly that second half. I know we went in with the lead at halftime, but the second half, I just thought there was a real polished maturity and confidence that the side played with that we don't always see. My worry last year, if you remember, I said it quite often, was Celtic don't react well to adversity. I mean, they go in front, they don't put their foot down, put their foot on the throat of the opposition. I felt on Tuesday, we go ahead and we've not got giddy about it. We've grown confidence in it and thought we should be ahead. When we went behind on Tuesday, we looked cheesed off. I know there was 5 rocky minutes after that, to be fair, we could have conceded another. But after that, Mark, look how Celtic played. It was like they had the bit between the teeth. They were cheesed off. That we had our spell, didn't score. You had your spell, you did score. Gives the ball back. And I thought there was, I thought that was a really refreshing change to see Celtic pissed off at going behind, not just feeling sorry for themselves. Then when they get in front, feeling that's where we belong to be, is in front, not spooked by it. These are big changes, Mark, from what we've seen in Europe.
Well, it's big team mentality, Bhoycie. See Ireland getting a goal and going, oh my God, what do we do next year? It's having the mental composure to just carry out the game plan. That doesn't happen through speaking in the dressing room or practices in the park. That comes through experience, trusting your ability, trusting the manager's message a long period of time. And I think when you look at the Atalanta game and the Leipzig game, the commentators on both of the games said the exact same thing. The teams ran out ideas against us. That tells me they're trying their A game. They're trying their wee tricks. But Roger says, watch them enough to know what's coming. The players have been set up, knowing what's coming and have dealt with it. All right, it's one thing knowing what's coming and not dealing with it. I think we can all know what's happening when you play Man City, but it's whether you can stop it or not a different matter. But it's the wherewithal and the mental strength to take these hits on the chin and get back up and go for another man, Bhoycie, and land one yourself. I think Celtic did that the other day there. Like, there was one moment and it led to a goal when it was so low key, but I'm glad it was picked up. And it was Carl McGregor getting pushed back. And 19 out of 10, that goes down the line. That goes back to the goalie, but McGregor just made the angle, played it back into the middle of defence, one pass out to Hattati, and we're on the attack, and it was within 3 or 4 seconds. They've committed 4 or 5 players, and they're in trouble. Celtic end up getting a goal with it. And by the way, Arthur Johnson's role in that goal was unreal. You watch him motor on. He's an R player. We'll probably get room to initial wee contract extension, but I thought there wasn't a player that didn't get at least an 8. Bhoycie, honestly, even if you factor in some of the ropey moments, like the first couple of minutes, that Trusty nearly gave a goal away as well. But it's not that they're nearly getting the goal. They're playing against opposition that are that finely tuned into playing at this level. That what a hair's mistake can cost you a goal at this level, boys. And we can't strive for perfection. We can strive for, as best as we can be. So you're always going to get the mistakes, and you're always going to get the wee kind of gasp moments. But see, after that, even when Schmeichel saved that shot in the second half, unless I watched it in slow motion, I was confident he was going to save that. You know what I mean? I didn't think that asking in, but these probably should go in. Now, I'm not going to be two-faced. I think he had a Craig Gordon moment with that goal they gave away with the corner. I think that ball was going wide. Again, the guy's not perfect. He doesn't know where the goals are at all times, I'm sure.
It was going wide big time. Hart flagged it as well, didn't he, in comms?
Aye, and I think, something like a striker can miss time a run, and a keeper can miss time where he has in the goals. Just something, I'm going to be honest with you, I would rather a keeper made that mistake than just usher the ball into the net. So, just in the heat of the moment, I was a bit annoyed with it, but he made up for it, and I thought his performance was pretty composed. I think you can see an upgrade generally in defence with Trusty. Scales, if he's going to be second choice, he'll be the second choice centre back in Scotland without a shadow of doubt, because the guy's ability is without question. If Trusty's the man that's in next to Carter Vickers, judging with the injuries this season, Skills will get back in again. But all through the team, we're now seeing players playing at the ceiling. No a glass ceiling. I think there's another level to go for some of these players, but so he's going to playing at a ceiling, and I think it's maybe you've took the ingredients of Angie's team, but you just get that finesse of Brendan Rodgers, who's fine tuned it, Bhoycie. He's kind of hybrid of Ange and maybe throw a wee bit of Neil Lennon's defensive style in the bigger games in Europe. And Rodgers has found a wee hybrid like that. I did not see the Atalanta game, a defensive Celtic showing up. But I think the fallout after the Dortmund game and the personal criticism that Rodgers took, Rodgers said it before, be careful what you wish for. If you want ruthless game by game Brendan Rodgers, you're going to get ruthless game by game Brendan Rodgers, who will see a mind shift, but in his approach. But what we've seen after the 2-each game at Aberdeen is, even at our level, boys, he's that meticulous that he's fixing things. And I was at Hampden, right? So I had a good vantage point. If you watched the first half in particular, when Aberdeen were playing at the back, did you notice that Kyogo and Maeda sat 20 yards out and didn't move? Do you notice that? They didn't push them out the corners. No, so what they were trying, I know most teams try and suck the players in so they can play their wee triangles, but they were very they had it in their heat, that they're very disciplined, and I thought that's different. I went, Talon's plays out for the back as well, or Terline, sorry. And I noticed in the first half in particular that the Celtic players were just sitting and going, okay, if you want 10 yards after me, you need to come 10 yards closer to me, rather than Celtic want to get suckered in. And I thought that's different. And even at this domestic level, Brendan Rodgers, who's head and shoulders above everybody else, with a squad better than everybody else, is willing to compromise on some things. And that's a mark of a manager, not only playing at the peak of his powers, but a manager who's reflecting. And as he said to the press the other day there, sometimes when you write a story, you crumple up and put it in the bin, so we can all change our approach. And I thought that was a good way to deal with them, Bhoycie, because that kind of puts any spin on the story that, Rodgers has changed. That spins that to say, well, we can all learn our job, including you. And I learned, and Celtic got a good result at it, and we will get better. And for me, as long as Celtic keep on progressing under Rodgers, seeing mistakes, tweaking them, and making Celtic better, this league will be always Celtic's, Bhoycie. And in Europe, as you've been calling for a long time, will incrementally get better. And I think we've saw a major shift in expectations for last season Celtic to match day 5 that's coming up now in the Champions League.
Well, this is it. Match day 5 coming up in the Champions League, and we're talking so positively about it. Have Celtic found their level in the Champions League? Is this the level we should have been striving for all along? In my opinion, yes. And I think when you talk about expectations, that's so important because one of the drums I've been buying, as you know, the 3 years I've been doing this pod now, or just shy of 3 years, I think. One of the main things I've been trying to say is we've got a negative attitude to Europe because Celtic haven't invested and planned for Europe enough. Everything this summer felt geared around the Champions League. Now, my frustrations, if you want the bigger picture, and I don't want to sound like I'm getting carried away. So my real pissed offness, for want of a better expression, I'll tell you this, that this is what we should have done last summer. And the reason I say that is not to dwell on last summer and go back to it all the time. It's actually because we've got no guaranteed right to be in the Champions League next year, which is so typical Celtic. When we're getting all our ducks in a row for Champions League level, it's actually going to be on potentially the last season we're in it for a few years, because that playoff route is fucking tricky. And you could get a draw that just gives you absolutely no chance. Remember, we got Arsenal ones, things like that, like in the playoff for the Champions League. You're going, fucking chance you got with that. So that's the frustration for me, is I knew we were capable of this, and it just took some proper investment in the first team, but rotating the players as well, in terms of the sell-on of O'Reilly funded this investment. So when you talk about investment, Celtic still made a net profit in the summer, but they were far more aggressive in terms of their expenditure. They didn't focus on how much profit they could make as much. It was, we still want to finish the window with profit. That's just their game. But they were willing to loosen the purse string slightly or take a hit on said profit being as high as what it normally would if we sold a £30 million player during a window. And I think you see the benefits of that in Europe. But I look at pre-season, we played Man City, Chelsea. Everything feels a bit this year geared up for, well, playing at a higher level, but competing at a higher level, Matt. Talking about finding that Champions League level. Spoke there for examples across the park. I think the goalkeeper we upgraded. I think Liam Scales, if he is right now third choice, and I say that in inverted commas, by the way, because I think right now there's just a battle for shirts. And I think right now him and Austin Trusty are in one. Trusty's winning it right now. Nobody has any qualms if it's Scales and CCV at the weekend. No one cares.
No.
It's bring it on. That's sound. No problem. So that department then, therefore, has been massively enhanced. Greg Taylor plays every week, or does he now? Everyone was happy if it was Valle or Taylor that started left back. No qualms. The right back area, we know what we get for Alston, but Johnston's improved. Midfield, obviously, we can go into it if you want. Engels, the expectation level's been put way too low on him, way too high on him, sorry, because in actual fact, we've got midfielders we value far higher than that and sell worth shitloads more. So why are we expecting him to be the best when we know his literal market value is £11 million, yet we'd put a market value higher on Rio Atati, a higher one on Callum McGregor, who, in fact, you probably just call indispensable. So why are we being so unrealistic to think that Engels should be walking in and being, fucking Maradona? You know what I mean? It's stupid.
Yeah.
The wingers department, we thought it was going to be Palma Maeda this year, with James Forrest sort of last run of it at the end of the last campaign, expecting to see him get a lot more starts, but arrives Nicholas Kuhn onto the scene, and he's now a massive improvement in the wingers options. And up front, we've got real competition. And again, I know Kyogo's absolutely loved. If I had to meet the starts 2 nights ago, no issue with that, mate. No issue with that. This feels more Champions League based, where it's not just out with our first 11, it's pin your tail on the donkey who comes on. And I mean literally the donkey. It's now feels like we've got options again. We can afford to make changes. We can actually now base our lineup on playing the fixture. So what is it in front of you? We've got personnel that can vary for each options and not weaken the side whatsoever. That's more Champions League feeling. And of course, as you rightfully point out, the manager's performance has improved too, because he's learned from his 6 games back in the Champions League last season. He's learned from his 7-1 drubbing in Dortmund, but he's also learning what his team's about at this level by trying different tactics, by going a wee bit more defensive in Atalanta, by having a more possession-based game against Leipzig, by telling them the expectancy is that you go smash Bratislava all over the park, whether it's Champions League or not. There's just everything feels a bit more geared around Europe for me, this whole Celtic project, if you like, that Brendan's now 17 months into?
Well, you look at us in general just now, we're acting like a European club. You know, I see it every day. This training centre's getting built, boys. It's massive. It's overtook the skyline. You see Celtic Park in the training centre, and the skyline is just Celtic now, which is always good. That's something Celtic should have been doing 20 years ago, but we're getting there now. You know what I mean? We've got, it's not just about having somewhere to send the women and the young boys to train. It's having that structure there. You know what I mean? Having that, that base for sports science and all the rest of it. That's there. You know what I mean? I think Celtic have these new rules regarding your income to salaries. Now, Celtic having this vending machine, as I like to call it, of talent, that can prop us up for when we don't make the Champions League, boys. But what we're doing in between is we're giving ourselves a good opportunity to qualify now. If 2 qualifiers last year, I'm saying 9 out of 10 we don't qualify. I'd fancy us to maybe take a lot of teams in a 2-legged qualifier now. So
No one would want to draw us, put it that way.
No, this is the point. No, this is the point. Whereas before, I think with Sunday we were easy meat. We were a tourist club. We were come and see the stadium. The fans would be loud. You score 3 goals and you go away with one of the players' shirts. These days, we've won our last 3 home matches in the Champions League, not to be sniffed at. You know what I mean? So that's beginning to dissipate that. But also, I know we've only played. We've only got 1 point, but we've also got a point away in a meaningful match in the Champions League. That's not to be sniffed at. There's chances is maybe pick another point up. So that's not to be sniffed at either. Celtic going in the right direction. I think, I don't want to talk about Rangers, boys, I really know, but you dare to draw comparisons to, I don't want to praise the board because, God, I would die in my own shoes for doing that. But when you look at what we're doing behind the scenes, boys, in terms of the future planning of the club and the future planning of the succession of players, and we begin to see like a pathway to the first team and all the rest of it, which they've hired all day to do this kind of in between the youth team and the first team, but at least making inroads to make the structure of the club better. You look across the road, boys, and see when you take your eyes off it, all of these departments, individually and collectively, that's a mess you get yourself into. Celtic have got their eye on every single part of the club. Sometimes they're too frugal, and it annoys me and you and annoys the rest of the fan base. But with the new laws that's coming in, boys, I read this morning that we're online before ticket sales. By the way, before ticket sales, we're online to make 50 million this year with Champions League, right? Ticket sales with 4 games is about 11 million. I don't know the rest of the hospitality. So you add one more game to that, I forget through to the next round. You talk 13, 14 million there, boys. So we're hitting 60 million in TAPI, our projected annual income. That gives you a large scope again to increase wages, to increase your level of investment. And that's when you can say to Arthur Johnson today, right, there's a long-term project here. We can afford the extra $5,000 a week. We know we're going to sell you in 18 months or 6 months. But this is the plan. This is Celtic's plan. This is your money in between, and we're going to save, put a buffer on your investment and give us a windfall when we sell you. And that's all the things that you're not seeing across the road, boys. They're letting players' contracts run out who should be sold for millions or pennies. They get players playing the youth team because they're ready to trigger a new clause in their contract, which gives them $5,000 a week extra. You name it. And Celtic only didn't make any mistakes. And we've seen long-term pain for Celtic with Europe. Rangers have seen relatively long-term success in Europe. But I think you're going to see a bit of a flip, boys, because you can't keep on flinging mud at the wall, hoping it sticks. I think Celtic are now getting what they deserve in Europe this season, and Rangers are probably going to get what they've been deserving for a long time, and that's a long period in the doldrums and a downsizing that nobody in that club is expecting, including their fans.
Yeah, I think to focus on the Celtic bit first.
I'm just
no, you're cool. No. Just on that, I think you're right. I think they are very much, by the way, going in different directions. Both Glasgow outfits. I think you're spot on. What I would say as well though is when it comes to investing in the team. One of the other things that we've always said is the rewards are there, European-wise. And you've listed there the 11, 12 million tickets. You've listed the group stage money, the TV money, the prize money. The prize money you need to remember as well. This is where investing in the team really kicks in. And I have said this quite a few times, so I'm trying to be a smart ass. But I say, folk forget as well how much money you get for winning points at this level. Now, the better team you've got, the more chance you've got of winning points. 7 points we've got, mate, is something along the lines of Celtic's banked around £5 million.
I've seen that, mate.
That cannot be understated. That's nearly
Bernardo's wage, Bernardo's salary, Bernardo's transfer.
so. Yeah, Bernardo's whole chance. His salary's paid. No, his transfer fees paid. And you're looking at maybe, I don't know, a year of his contract paid already as well for 7 points. But that's something I've been trying to fucking wave and highlight is I don't think you realise how much this thing is it bounces back. So you speculate, but you'll accumulate. And that's because or you increase your chances of accumulating. And we're seeing it right now. And it should be a wake-up call, if not that we've got to be more aggressive as a side. This can't just be a flash in the pan. I don't want to look back at it 3 years later and say, like the Postecoglou window. Oh, but we really went for them. We went for it in the Postecoglou first transfer window because it was default. We didn't have any players. We had to, and he was all we had. We didn't have directors of football. We didn't have fuck all. So I was go and get his players, and he was allowed to do that. That's why it was such a refreshing window, that one. This year's definitely been something that I think should be now the green print, if not the blueprint, for what we do going forward. And that's get guys in that can improve the first team straight away. Not guys that might improve the first team in a few years. Yes, there'll be a wee smattering of that as well. That's okay, because that's building your future. But in general, we were trying to make project players the first teamers. We're trying to have them we were trying to, it's called trying to have your cake and eat it. And we're wanting to develop and enhance players, but at the same time hit the ground running as if they're gonna be of the level of a Nicholas Kuhn coming in his mid-20s, who has got all that experience now and ready to be a first team player. Austin Trusty comes after 30 EPL league games last season, right? He's 26. It's not a project coming in, mate.
No.
Do you know what I mean? We were trying to take the piss, I think, about with that. Let's play elite level football, but do it with our projects as well. No. We need to get first team ready guys in, and you'll get the money back, or you'll see a lot of the money coming back. And what you also get, and this is a personal thing to yourself, is you get an energised fan base, which I think is something they seriously needed that credit bought a long time ago. That was something that they needed to be striving for years. And I think almost turned their back on a lot of the supporters and their wants and their demands and almost went a wee bit aloof with it all. Whereas I look at someone like yourself, the way you talk about the Champions League, even in the group chat over the last couple of days, the enthusiasm you've got for how we performed on Tuesday and this Champions League campaign as a whole, I think that's going to be mirrored by so many other fans, right? But I'm using you as the example because that's what I know. And that's got to be a huge box ticked for that board as well. Because you're right, it did sound like you were going to praise them. And I get that we're loath to do that, but we're loath to do that because of their own actions.
Yeah.
So it's refreshing to see heads turning again in such a positive manner. You insert now looking at the training centre looks great. We're delighted with the manager in charge. We're delighted with the recruitment that's came in since January. We look at Ida, we look at Kuhn. We're happy with Engels. We love McGowan. Who else have we brought in? We've just talked about Trusty there, who's really came onto a game. We're chuffed with Valle. There seems to have been a far, far more first team focused approach to recruitment. There's still one eye in the future, as you say, about the training centre. And we've got the best paid manager in Celtic's history at the helm. That is 3 big boxes ticked of a club now suddenly looking far more in unison than it did this time 12 months ago. Less than 12 months ago. This time, the beginning of this year. Not this time, the beginning of this year. That was stupid. At the beginning of this year.
It was amazing how Victory's clear there, Bhoycie, and focus your attention on the good things. Celtic, as we always speak about, they're a football team. I think when you're winning football matches, the mist begins to settle and you do see the good things that's happening off the park, whereas you just want instant success when you're getting beat or you're drawing matches, you focus on the here and now and what's happening. So that's helped, and I think that it's helped that, first of all, we'll get the right manager in, and we'll get the right, so far, the last 2 windows, we'll get the right recruitment strategy as we didn't have the last couple of years. So that has gone in the right direction. All the things are going good. On a personal level, I'm back being enthusiastic about European football again, and at the very, very least, knew we can watch these games and have a belief that we can compete, Bhoycie. And even like guys yourself that I've always had the hope. But I dare say there's been times where you've went, oh, fuck, I waste of fucking time here. You know what I mean? But that's not your fault. I think that's sometimes the board's execution, the way they've spent their money, the way they've put their strategy ahead for the football team. But all of that, I think still figureheaded with the manager. If we've got a good manager who competes at the highest level, Celtic's ability, even withstanding the board's bad influence at times, I think it can mask a lot of things. But I think we've got to be honest and go to say, look, the board has ticked a lot of boxes, Bhoycie. Recently, they've ticked a lot of boxes. I think there's been a wee bit of a sea change when it comes to, you don't see much of Peter Lawwell on people's lips anymore. That seems to have been dissipated for the transfer window finished. Nobody's talked about him anymore. I think that's
It's a great point. I think it's a fair point.
I think that's been good PR, taking him out the limelight, but it's also been, I think, see, this is what happens when you go and spend £9 million on a striker and £11 million on a midfielder. Take away the players individually, take the players away, forget who they are, but symbolically, the fans got what they deserve, Bhoycie.
It's so fucking true, mate. It's so true. And do you know what? This is where you then get dumbed down in the conversation. People dumb it down and go, but if someone costs more money, doesn't mean they're going to be good.
No.
Listen to the words Mark's saying there. Symbolically, though, there's a buy-in from the fans straight away, and there's a will and a desire for these guys to be great, and they get maybe that extra 5% back in and will to do well, because we know it's a big leap of investment. But it also shows you that your money, as you rightfully point out, Mark, that's getting pumped into the club year on year, is getting invested in the product that you're watching with your eyes. And I'll be honest, you go to every single game, mate, near enough. You have got to be, as a paying customer, forget you're a fan, you have got to be, as if you're going to use business terms, as a paying customer, you have to be saying, this year alone, or this season alone, you have been getting bang for your buck as a punter for the fare on show. And that is something that I don't think we were always getting last year at all. In fact, it was turgid a lot, but we sat on £100 million. So why is the product in the park not matching what the level of investment the fans have made? That's what was frustrating this time around, albeit it was later in the day than I wanted. I still stand by that. I thought the dealings were too late, because I see the improvements, as you say, with Nicholas Kuhn with a full pre-season, for example. It is annoying, but notwithstanding it, when all was said and done, the window shut, there was proper levels of investment seen in the park, and you're getting a better product for it. The club is actually, I think, on a reputation-wise, it is enhancing tenfold already again because of the Champions League successes. Performances like last night get spoke about, mate.
Aye.
Trust me, outside Scotland, way outside Scotland, they get spoke about. What eyebrows will be raised. What people in Germany will be surprised. They go, holy fuck. Didn't know they were that good. We thought we molded, our Dortmund mold them. Didn't know they were that good. And it just gets attention on it, enhances the reputation. It gets younger players across Europe maybe glancing over, going, oh, that wouldn't be a bad stop in my career trajectory. I might get a lot of experienced players, maybe not, who've been at the top level, not so much right now, going, that would be a nice stop. I've made my money. That would be a good place to go and still earn good money, but play. Celtic all of a sudden its sex appeal, mate, is now going through the roof. And again, it does come back to, like you say, we symbols like buying in players for proper dough, seeing a better improved team on the back of that, making fortunes on the back of that in terms of prize money, attendances, TV attention, etc., and potentially more fixtures in the tournament to come by all that. It goes back to the root of the problem, which was we weren't investing properly in the first team before.
Well, you're spot on, you know what I mean? And I think you almost begin to forgive the wee criminal acts that the boards do. Okay, we all know that the players with Ida and England were brought in too late for Rodgers to impact in pre-season, but we forgave that because the deals were done. You see how that changed, boys? You go over the fact that we missed a full summer time with him, and you go, right, I can forgive that because we've made the investment level. If you don't make the investment level and you get in a lesser on paper signing, you don't forgive them as easy. You still moan about how long they took to get over the line and things like that. So the full optics of the deals becomes better for the paying customer, as you put it. I mean, when you're at your pub, you know what I mean? If you're getting in and you're serving chip pint glasses and bus chairs at the bar, folk eventually they come back, but they get fed up with it, boys. You know what I mean? Even though they come back and they're regulars. And I think it's like at Celtic, you know what I mean? That you get the ones that will come like myself, like Phil, everybody else. You're loyal. You're going to go week in, week out, and whether you like it or not, you're bent at a barrel, right? And you're going to ask for more. But there becomes a point where even that becomes tiresome, Bhoycie. And we were all getting fed up with the £2 million signings, the project players, and all the rest of it. All he wanted to see at the very, very least was a shift in the club's strategy, a shift in this frugal approach to everything. You've got to gamble in any business, and that includes football, Bhoycie, because the rewards are tenfold in football. We just spoke about a minute ago there. If you buy a striker who's 1-2 rungs on the ladder above your pay grade, but gets you 5 points to 6 points to the Champions League, he's paying for his transfer almost. He's at least paying for his salary and the goals alone, and everything else in tap, that's a bonus. You know what I mean? And for a long time, Celtic have saw the jackpot as being in the Champions League. Now we've noticed there's a jackpot repeater button, that if we invest another pound coin, we've got a chance to get a repeat on that jackpot by getting the extra money on the transfer, on the what do you call it, the win bonuses, by getting a player like Kuhn to thrive at that level, and a £15 million player becomes a £25 million player because he did it at the highest level, rather than being part of a team that's getting beat 4-5-0 and finishing bottom of the group. The mindset of the buying club changes as well by the level of team that he's playing for, and the level of points they're picking up and the displays. And Owen Hargreaves mentioned it after the Bratislava game. If you're a youth player, second or third category of ability, Celtic is an appealing place to go to. Look at the football they're playing, and that's why ages will talk. They're playing the Champions League. There's a chance to go to England. They're playing a football that's attractive. You're going to enjoy yourself. Look at that stadium. All these wee things become more and more appealing when you start ticking off all the boxes. Playing under Brendan Rodgers, a good salary, chance to go to England, and that does come down to the level of investment for the board, but also goes down to the level of ability that Celtic have got within just now, Bhoycie, because you look at some of your standout performers, that's not been a level of investment. Maeda and Kyogo were 5-6 windows ago, and are performing at the highest level under Brendan Rodgers. We've supplemented that with a couple of good signings the last couple of years. We've not spent money this summertime because, as you say, we brought in £30 million for one player. We've probably spent £30 million or less on oil players this window. Celtic are just safety netting the next transfer window and next season spend. And we're doing our part as fans. It's up to the board now, I think, to stick to that level of ambition. And I think looking at the Champions League and the fruits of that labour, that if we keep going this trajectory, there's no reason whatsoever, boys, that we can't be excited every single season going to Europe. Because if you look at last night's, for example, I don't think that's a one-off performance. I don't think that's a flash in the pan. I can see that's a repeat performance. I seen Tom English talking about this. He was saying Barcelona was a one-off performance. Tuesday night is a repeat performance that you can see happen again. You can see Kuhn playing a worldie. You can see Maeda pressing. You can see Hatate making the 30-40 yard beauty passes.
Oh yes, he had some game.
These things are performances that you can repeat again. Do you see where I'm coming from? This
Totally,
is
mate.
a one-half sit back and see what happened with your swords.
This is the template for Celtic now, isn't it?
This is it, Bhoycie, and I think, see, if you've got, this is like And if I was to try and use an analogy, like Rodgers has made like the syrup for this team. You know what I mean? And all the players have got today is just add their own wee bit to it, and this team will flourish on the Park Boys because I think Rodgers has made like he's made the ingredients here for a fucking brilliant football team to watch. All the players have got today is add their wee bit into it. You know what I mean? And I think this team will repeat these performances to that level. Maybe no, but to see that actual structure, concentration level, we will see that again under Rodgers, and I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, Michelle comes in and she's saying, the board can, if the board spend on quality over quantity, we could hold our own. I think there's two sides to what Shell's saying there, I think saying, see what we can do when we spend over quantity, but also saying, keep it going. We can hold it, or we could hold our own. That's almost a forward thinking way. Shell's looking at that as well, going, we've got to keep going though. If we spend money, that means if we continue to, and I like that attitude. That's now not basking in the glory of we had one good window, we attacked the Champions League, we got points, we got plaudits, we got people's eyes on the club. It's about then, right, okay, this is what we can do. Let's kick on again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not spend wildly, but let's spend. Let's look at the profits we've made, and let's get a kitty together again for next summer, or albeit this January, and let's start pulling that money in here or there, going, realistically, what sort of war chest can we give Brendan here? What sort of player caps in terms of wages can we rise it to? Where are we going to strengthen? Where is Celtic next goal? That's what we've got to be looking at. And that's where CJ's came in as well. And he's saying, are we now competitive Europe? And if so, what are we aiming for next? I mean, I think right now, next, I think they want to assure themselves top 24.
Yeah.
Right? Top 24 means you go into a 9th and 10th Champions League match, which would be a two-legged affair against a team that finished between, if you finish between 17th and 24th, then you're against a team that finished between 9th and 16th. If you finish between 9th and 16th, then you're against a team from 17th to 24th. But ultimately, if we our next 3 games out of 4 are at home, and we've played our trickiest home tie and won it with a plum. We've got Young Boys Bern, Club Bruges. Forgive me, who's the other one?
It's Zagreb, Dynamo Zagreb.
They're away.
They're playing.
Villa away.
Aye, they're playing pretty well. They got a victory last night again away from home. I think.
They were playing Bratislava, weren't they?
Oh, so they were. But Bruges got a victory against Aston Villa last night. I seen that. You got a fly in the house.
I don't know what he's looking at when he's climbing the walls. Fucking shit myself. Who the fuck else have we got in this group?
What's that? We've got Villa, Bruges, Young Boys, and
Zagreb.
But as I say, Bruges, I thought it was a banker. They beat Aston Villa last night. I was surprised at that. So maybe checker than we thought. But
yes,
but Celtic are going to take it game by game. Celtic, I think, will be successful if they take it game by game. I don't think we should be looking at
I agree.
No.
I agree. I think the home ones, it gives you real hope though. But if we can keep that form, and as you said earlier, you think that's the new norm for Celtic, or how we're going to be looking to be playing at this level, then with these games coming up, you've got to then be going, well, do you know what? Why is the target not going top 8? Win your games. Play like that every time at home. Make that your level, if that's us finding our level, or that's going to be the norm. If that's the case, go for the fucking top 8. Don't reach for the stars. Give a fucking love bite. You know what I mean? And that is a chance. A real chance. P. McLaughlin saying 30th to 36th place in the league. They already look doomed. Leipzig will be one of them. They're 4 games, 4 defeats. Although they've had
a country off. Oh my god. Juventus, Liverpool, Celtic, and the 4th one of age. I can remember
Atletico
Madrid. The group has been kind to us, but do you know something? We spoke about it earlier on. We're not beating the teams we don't normally should beat and then beat them, like Bratislava. We don't normally get points against teams like Atalanta. We did that. And we don't normally beat the teams that we shouldn't beat, like Leipzig. So we're doing the things that we shouldn't be doing. We're doing the thing. That's improvement just in itself. That's improvement for Celtic.
Mark, the draw was good to us, right? But we've not really had the good bits of the draw other than Bratislava at home.
No, we've not.
And we've
Even that,
played the
I think
Europa
that's a
League.
better team than people think.
Oh, definitely. Europa League winners away from home. Top scorers in Italy, you said. Champions League runners-up away from home. Second in the Bundesliga at home.
With the best defence. They lost 5 goals all
Now you
season.
tell me that's a good draw at this point, and the folk who go, you're mad. So I think the real guts of the good draw will still be decided, and that's when we'll find out what Young Boys Bern and Club Bruges and Zagreb are all about, really. That's what we're wanting to see, is what can we do in these games? Can we go to Zagreb and get a point? I think we'll be looking to do that. Can we do what we did to Leipzig against Bruges? Why not? No one says there'll be easy shakes.
No.
But I see Leipzig will be a better side than them. You would have thought. And then you're looking at Young Boys Bern, who, if we are going to be this Champions League level club, then beating Young Boys Bern at home is part of that remit.
I think so.
That's not being cocky.
The big boy pants, you got to date, Bhoycie. That's it.
You can't then pick and choose when you're a big boy and go, well, actually, because you're not actually one of the big boys then. What you're saying is, didn't expect to do this, didn't expect to do that, and you're constantly got a real, when you spoke about a ceiling earlier, that's how you put ceilings on things. If you're just going to be cagey and not hedge your bets that will beat Young Boys Bern, as you rightfully pointed, put the big boys pants on and go, fuck Bern, we'll beat them over there. And we'll beat them over there, we'll beat them at Celtic Park. That's what we've got to be looking to do. That's got to be the attitude and the mindset. And there should be as well an expectancy that we can do these things without getting carried away with yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think we are level-headed. You know, I mean, nobody in this pod is going crazy, but I think you'd be quite Mark Kearney, enjoy the football so far. You know what I mean, mate? And even I'm committing my bubble at, but what we've done is we've created our own expectations within the camp, but that even brings a fear factor when teams play now as well. You know, I mean, like say your young boys who play Bayern, they're going to have, rather than go to Celtic Park thinking most teams get a point here, they're going to come there thinking, fuck, they've played 2 games, they've scored 8 goals at home, lost 1 for a corner. I mean, this is a big match, and I think Celtic have made this expectation for themselves, but in the best possible sense. Through their performances, Bhoycie. I said none of this has been manufactured artificially. Celtic have made these expectations through their performances on the park. Dortmund aside, who it was one of their nights where anything that could go wrong did go wrong. But we've learned from it, Bhoycie. We've learned from it. We've spoken about it. And I think you look at Leipzig, they'll feel lucky to get away with 3-1. You look at that boy, the blonde boy, is it? Compare or his name again, blonde boy midfielder.
Yeah, it was a Compel.
Well seasoned at that level. He said when you play against teams like that, he said sometimes they put a hands up and go, there's nothing we can do about this. Saying that their level of ability and fitness, we felt like we ran a marathon, and we felt there was nothing we could do.
Did he come out and say that?
Aye, he came and said that. He said sometimes you just know there's nothing you can do.
Oh, good.
But even watching that match, if I was a Leipzig fan, Campbell, if I was watching that match as a Leipzig fan, I'd be thinking, fuck, that's a team there. And I think that creates a wee bit of trepidation for the opposition teams. I'm fed up teams coming with their camera phones out and taking photographs of the stadium.
Well, we've spoken about that, haven't we? It really fucks you off, eh?
Well, that won't be happening.
Pish.
3 and 4 past them, the camera phones are getting back into their bags. And that's what I'm saying. We're slowly but surely taking away that element of this tourist club. You'll enjoy yourself and you'll get a victory. If they're seeing big teams going there, your teams like Bern and all the rest of it, they're going to come and go, let's just try and get away with what we can get away with here. Let's not be... I think sometimes in Scottish football and even in English football, see the big teams like Celtic, Rangers, I think a lot of times when they're playing bad, they win matches because the opposition are that fearful to come out.
Yep.
So see that level of fear and trepidation, it can be detrimental to the team, but it can be a huge boost for the opposite team, Bhoycie. So for instance, Celtic, if we're putting a fear factor into some teams coming to Europe, you've got a goal to start there, Bhoycie. If you use it the right way, you've got a goal to start. You know what I mean? And teams like Bernard, they'll need to overcome the atmosphere, then the ability, and then the 90 minutes of just pure athleticism. And this is where Celtic, I think, have turned a corner, because see the last 10 minutes of that game the other day there, I had no doubt in my mind people are going to see that game out. In fact, I thought we might get a fourth or fifth. Whereas normally at home, that Lisbon Lion end, Bhoycie, you look at the Lisbon Lion end at Celtic Park, how many goals do you see going that end in Europe, Bhoycie? We always lose late goals in Europe in the second half. I didn't think that was possible the other day there. I thought Celtic just
Interesting you say that, mate. Yep. Very
it's true.
confident.
You look at Lisbon
I
Lion
felt very
stand, Bhoycie.
confident.
What's that?
I felt very confident, mate.
Very
It was confident. I didn't have the 85th to 90th minute jitters that you expect. That is a huge sign as well. Just on it's like on a personal level, but it is a big difference, mate. Feeling that. I remember, and just to flip it, I remember saying last season it was a domestic game we were drawing. I remember saying to Terry, "Do you know what's weird? I never got off my couch towards the end, standing in anticipation I was getting a late winner." So
that
it
was
can work two ways.
game. I remember watching that match.
I remember I said that, and I was like, I didn't even get up off the couch. I just sat back, knowing we could play for another hour and not score.
Yeah.
And weirdly, I had the opposite of that the weekend, where midweek, where why am I not covering my eyes right now even at 3-1 and panicking they're going to score and then score again, and going, we're on the brink here, and I'm not shitting myself. In fact, I'm utterly convinced we see this out. What a different level of calmness to have. Shows you how much it can change so quickly as well.
Well, see the mark of a good team, Bhoycie. You look at the last 15 minutes of a match, see the amount of goals they score and the amount of goals they lose in that period is a mark of a good team, Bhoycie, because they've got physical and mental awareness, you know what I mean, and mental and physical. They're at the peak of their powers. You look at Celtic, 45 minutes on the clock the other day there in the Champions League against a better opposition. We get the goal through 5 players pressing one ball. You know what I mean? And if you watch that, there's the unique angle that Celtic put out. And I watched that, and it shows you a worm's eye view of that goal that they lost. My dad was like, why not? I said, Dad, we were owning them that much that they couldn't get the ball even at the park. Even their ability, Celtic just pressed them.
And mega press.
It was mental. You look at mine as we touch and everything. It's a beautiful goal, but
a couple of really nice moments. Like Satati does one flick and then does another one as well. In the midst of it, that's showing you it's not pressing for pressing's sake.
No.
And it's not erratic, head scattergun pressing. It's all getting done with a real laser focus as well. Going, well, there's a wee break of the ball. There's a wee flick to you then. So they're using that.
How smart they were with the press. And you look at teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona. I'm not trying to compare them to us, but they don't press for the sake of pressing.
No,
they know when to press, and they know how to press and what areas to press and what type. You're seeing that level of intelligence with Celtic players now. You see that, you know what I mean? And you look
experience is beginning to shine through as well.
Definitely, and you see that like
for a lot of them.
I listened to, and I wouldn't recommend this, right? But I listened to Peter Grant a while ago, and as I say, I don't recommend it. He was saying about the levels when you get up and down the leagues. You look at a championship manager, and a first division manager, and a Premier League manager. The further you go down, the more shouting and bawling the manager has to do at the side of the park, because they're coaching the players during a match, which shouldn't be happening, right? You look at Ange. I'm not talking to Ange. He was constantly coaching the players for the match, and it was like he would try to coach something that just wasn't there sometimes, or he was asking too much.
Yep.
I feel like Rodgers didn't need to do that, because I think the players totally understand what's going on. You know what I mean? And you look at a top level manager. It's very if they're shouting and bawling, it's almost a surprise. The cameras are right onto them. You know what I mean? And the higher you go up, the less you see shouting at players and talking to players in the park. And I think with Rodgers, I think you're seeing that he's allowing the players to make decisions, but with the expectation that they've got the message, Bhoycie. And as I say, this intelligence when they know when to press, how to press, who to press.
You're so right, man. You're so right. You're so right. It does. It feels like everything seems purposeful Everything
Yeah.
seems thought out. And there has been, which I think there was maybe a bit of a reluctance to. Such maybe was the size of character that Postecoglou was. But I think whether it was a reluctance or a lack of understanding of it or a lukewarm attitude towards Brendan, I don't think the players were fully invested in him at times
No.
last year. I thought towards the end of the season, I thought March onwards, once Brendan, you seen a change in him in terms of his media sort of interactions, Mark. You seen
Yeah.
that he was beginning to be a wee bit spiky, but he was also getting a bit more gallus, and it was like he was finding his feet again. I think that you're seeing that because he's probably seen in the training ground the pennies dropping with these guys now. I've won them round. And suddenly he starts peacocking a bit more in the media. And that'll be a reflection of his hard work on the training ground, making him in a more positive mindset, a more confident one. And that then gets sort of broadcast, if you like, it transcends out. Aye. And now this year you're seeing it's complete unison. Complete unison. And, I think Postecoglou Spurs, I'm seeing now getting beat 3-1 in the Europa League right now.
Oh,
No surprise.
well, Quel Supri.
Quel Supri, indeed. Right, that's been over an hour. Thank you to everyone who's been watching us on the T.N.F. And aye, we're out of here, Mark. That was brilliant, mate. Really enjoyed the chat. Thank you very much for joining us. Everyone else, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. I'm away for some lamb soup. See you.
Cheerio.